The woman never imagined that on her wedding night her husband would pull out a pair of scissors and cut open her dress. She instinctively covered her body, but under her husband's cold gaze, her hands slowly dropped. Only when the last piece of clothing was removed did the Duke command her in a haughty manner, "Would you go to the bed?" At that moment, Anna was filled with tension and anxiety, but she could only obey her husband's demands and slowly lay down. The Duke then began to undress himself, his eyes showing no trace of affection, for in his heart, his wife was nothing more than a tool for bearing children. Life after marriage brought Anna no joy, and she began to confide her sorrows to her mother. But her mother said none of this mattered. As long as she could give birth to a son for the Duke, her situation would improve. But when she returned home, the scene before her eyes left her stunned. A maid fled from her husband's bedroom, in panic at that moment, and his heart was filled with shock and anger. She burst into the bedroom to confront her husband. However, the Duke casually said, "This has nothing to do with you." Faced with her husband's betrayal, she could only endure it. Soon after, Anna finally conceived a child. As she had hoped, she eagerly anticipated her husband's change of heart. Months later, Anna showed signs of labor as her husband. The Duke ignored her suffering, instead celebrating the arrival of an heir outside. Unfortunately, Anna gave birth to a daughter. Upon hearing the news, her mother rushed over in a panic. All the mother could do was comfort Anna about her situation. "Things will get better in the future. Just keep going. One day you will give birth to a son." However, 6 years passed in the blink of an eye, and Anna still hadn't given birth to a son. Instead, she had another daughter. Although she loved all 3 children dearly, the Duke's heart was filled with contempt. He would rather ride in a carriage with his daughter than spend time with his children. Although marriage was not ideal, Anna shone brightly. With her outstanding beauty and unique sense of fashion, she became an object of imitation among the noble women wherever she went. She was the center of attention. While Anna was dancing, her husband approached a woman. But to Anna's surprise, the woman rejected the Duke's advances. Anna became deeply interested in her and took the initiative to greet the woman. After some conversation, she learned that the woman's name was Beth, and that she had also experienced her husband's betrayal. Perhaps because they had similar experiences, they gradually found common ground in their conversation, and their relationship grew closer. After that, they often went out together to talk about their unhappy marriages. Although Beth had given birth to 3 sons, her husband had taken them all away, depriving her of the right to see her children. Now she could only stay temporarily in a hotel. Hearing Beth's tragic story, Anna felt immediate sympathy for her and invited her to stay temporarily at her home. Anna had thought her husband would not agree, but the Duke readily agreed. However, at that moment, Anna did not realize how foolish her decision was. A few days later, Anna returned home to look for Beth to chat, but ran into 2 servants eavesdropping. Seeing that their mistress had returned, they quickly left. Anna also heard the voices in the room. At that moment, her world seemed to collapse in an instant. Faced with the double betrayal of her bestie and her husband, Anna could no longer suppress the injustice in her heart.